Like Family Chiropractic. Tonight we are talking about stressed out kiddos. It has been one of the most stressful times in my life for these kiddos. And tonight we're chatting about that, talking about how to notice it, how to realize how stressed your kiddos are, and what you can do. Stressed out kiddos can range from newborns all the way up into teenagers, and those teenagers then become stressed out adults. So tonight, locate, analyze, correct. Biggest things for tonight is I want you to take action. Take action, start this evening, make a game plan, and make sure everything is good to go. Thank you, love. My wife was giving me thumbs up because we've had technical issues on this before. So thank you so much, Sarah. So we are game planning. And I know how much this can stress out families. Stressed out kiddos creates stressed out families. We see it every single day in our office. We help so many kids with it. And it's time that it stops. Tonight, we're going to talk more so about stressed out kiddos from a toddler to teenage perspective. Check out other webinars for stressed out kiddos in other situations, such as newborns, as well as infants. But tonight we're going to talk about from toddlers up into teens. Here, we're going to start with this one. So, what does a stressed out kiddo looks like? This kiddo looks healthy and happy. Here's why. It's because in this picture, he was much happier. He was one of those kiddos who was always stressed out. His mom said he was stressed out from the time that he was born up until his early teenage years. He didn't like to do anything. He wasn't happy. He had very few friends. He only ate poor food. He never played a sport in his life. He never had a hobby. He was low motivation. He was getting crushed in school. He had ADD. He was on medication. Flip side, now, what's this dude wearing? This dude's wearing a jersey for dirt biking. He found dirt biking as a passion. Now in high school, he's playing football. He's weightlifting. He's having fun. He smiles. He gives me high fives. He is a different child. And what happens now is when him and his mom come in together, his mom is smiling. His mom is coming out of her shell. She's not as stressed out anymore. She is so much happier. His family is changing and transforming. And the reason is that he is no longer in stress mode. He is now a happy kiddo. What happened? We started taking care of this kid. His mom listened to everything that we have to say tonight. The biggest thing is she took action and she was consistent with it because she wanted to see her son transform. She was sick of seeing how he was interacting with himself and his family and the world. She was sick of seeing him mope around and never have fun and just be low about everything and down about everything. She was sick of watching him struggle in school. And she said, now is the time to make change, because if I know I don't make a change now, he's going to be a stressed out, anxious adult who's on medications for the rest of his life. Now, this guy crushing it in school on no medications, focusing just fine. Why? Got him out of stress mode, took action. Here are some common scenarios that to discover if your kid's stressed out. Hard mornings, after school meltdowns, lack of focus or unable to be productive, unwilling to try through new things, doesn't want to leave their house or their comfortable situation or their room. They have an immature social age. They have gut issues. They have sleep disturbances, hard to go to sleep, hard to stay asleep. Another one is hard to wake up in the morning, just super duper sluggish. Their system's stressed out and their system's trying to heal overnight. And they're just so toxic and tired in the mornings. Daytime accidents. So daytime accidents such as like pee and poop accidents. Those are things that can happen during the day. We just saw one of those kiddos in our office and she had a super duper stressed out scan. We'll chat more about that too. So last thing of this is this can get also convoluted. Some kiddos, another scenario can be they have skin issues. Stress can be exhibited in a human by human basis. And what that means is that every human, so think about yourself, mom or dad, when you feel stressed and you're like rocking on stress for multiple days in a row, or a couple weeks in a row, a couple months ago in a row, a couple of years in a row, you have a system that will consciously come into your mind to show you that it's stressed. Okay. What that means is, for me, give you an example. For me, if I'm stressed on a regular basis, my digestive tract will get thrown off, right? My bowels will be weird. I'll be more gas and bloated. And when the stress dissipates, I calm it down. My digestive tract comes back to normal. My wife, she will have musculoskeletal issues. She will show up with more tension and discomfort in her system, in like old injury areas, or she'll have respiratory issues. We've had people in our office have skin stuff, had focus things. We've had brain fog, whatever it may be. It's on a basis of, depending on that person's genetics, and that's where genetics plays into this factor. So if any of those scenarios sound likely, your kiddo is probably stressed. Biggest thing tonight, as well as amongst a lot of other topics that we talk about, there are no quick fixes. We live in a time where it's like every single day we have a new superfood or a new supplement or a new workout or a new exercise or a new gadget that can help us be healthier. And man, it's going to work right now, and it's going to work. It should have worked yesterday, and it's going to help us move beyond. And, you know, medicine gives us that too. Here's a new potion, pill, lotion, surgery, procedure, whatever it may be, that can get us back on track. Here's the thing. No quick fixes. It takes time, consistent action in order to make changes. Time, consistency, and action in order to make changes. So it's going to take your commitment. Stressed out kiddos become those stressed out teens that become stressed out adults. And then those stressed out adults sink into anxiety and depression and end up on a bunch of medication. And man, they are in a hole. So what it comes back to is we have to minimize the stress, and then we have to help your kiddos better adapt to stress. Okay. When we're talking about stress, we can talk about toxins, we can talk about environments, and we can talk about physical things. Okay. We need to minimize all three of those things, and your kiddos need to adapt better to them. Can we eliminate the toxins out of our world? Not entirely. We're going to get exposed to toxins, but we can minimize them by, let's say, changing our diet, making sure we don't have anything artificial in our life, making sure all of our cleaning solutions and detergents and fragrances are all natural, right? That's a minimizing stress. But when we walk out into the world, we breathe diesel fumes, we go into a place that has, sprayed with crazy amounts of Lysol. Those are stressors that we can't avoid. We could just better adapt to them. Same with the physicalities. Same thing with other environmental situations and relationships. We can minimize those stresses, but we can't always exclude every stressor. We can adapt better to them. We can handle them better so that those stressors don't throw us off and lead our kids and ourselves down a spiral that we can't get out of, or it takes us quite a while to get out of. So when it comes to stress, this didn't happen, for some kiddos, is that it happened majorly over these last 2 years. When COVID hit, stress galore, stressed out kiddos, stressed out everybody. But a lot of these kiddos, that wasn't the thing that caused it all. There was underlying stress before that. And how do we know that? Is because we see pregnant moms, we see moms who are trying to conceive, we see moms who've just had their newborn babies. We have newborns and infants that stress can start preconceptively, and then in utero, that child gets wired with stress. Mom brain educates baby's brain about what the external world looks like. If mom's super stressed, they're going to tell baby's brain that, hey, it's stressful out here. So here, we're going to formulate your brain to handle stress when you get out. And then that baby comes out and they're stressed out and they have nursing challenges and they have developmental delays and they have failure to thrive and they have torticollis and they have improper body holding. They just aren't a healthy kiddo. They're just not happy, whatever it is. That stress can come from early on. So if we're talking about majorly stressed kiddos, that stress probably came before, and then something like COVID, which was a massive stressor, threw them off, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And now you are squandering in this stress. So here's some understanding before we talked about a little bit more understanding before we talk about game plan. Okay. So when your kiddos are stressed, if they're in more of a freeze mode, okay, freeze mode is lethargic, unhappy, don't want to get out of the house, just low, not themselves. Man, what's going on with my kiddo? That is the lowest form of stress. Okay. We need to get them from that lowest form into the more of a aggressive form of stress, where they have temper tantrums, where they have more emotional outbursts, where they're exhibiting what you and I know to be stress. They're just high strung, having the gut issues, the skin issues, the respiratory issues, the physical discomforts, sleep disturbances, whatever it is. We need to get them to that level. Okay. The hardest ones are when those kids come in that like, because we got to step them along the way, and those kids have emotional big detoxes and life changes that because you step them up the stress ladder. And once you get them out of that sympathetic or stress mode of fight or flight, then we get them into more of a parasympathetic, a rest and digest, where their system hits a healing mode and their brain repatterns back into the rest and digest mode. And then it's a beautiful thing is that when we crest out of that more of rest and digest parasympathetic mode, then we get into the highest brain function, is what's called social vagus, or some people might know it as polyvagal theory, is that when you are balanced between stressed and relaxed and your kid is in an optimal state, then they become more emotionally intelligent. They see into the future more. They look at the positive things. They're more optimistic. They're less pessimistic. They can have more intellectual conversations. They form deeper relationships. They talk more about their feelings. They're just at the highest point. They make deeper eye contact. They tell you more meaningful things. They have passions and find purpose in life. That is the highest part of brain function. And when we get there, that's where we need to say the thing that stinks about our world and our life, man, which I wish it wasn't this way. If we all went back to deconstructing the 21st century, went back to living in the woods, in a cabin, no outside stuff, grew all of our own food, our days would just automatically be parasympathetic for the most part, unless we had terrible living situations or relationships that stressed out the system. But the world would put us in a parasympathetic or rest and digest or social vagus perspective. However, the world that we live in, which we're not getting away from, puts us in a stress response. So what we have to do is we have to consistently do things with our healthcare as well as our daily choices and habits that put our system back into that relaxation mode, back into that parasympathetic mode, back into that social vagus mode. We have to repattern our system in that, because if we don't actively do it, then we're going to automatically default into stress. The world's going to throw us back into the stress response, and your kiddos are going to remain there. So you have to take action in order to bring them out of that. So what it looks like is that it's not about treating their stress. It's about creating the environment. You bring more balance, you bring more health. You can't just try and eliminate stress. You have to fuel that system. First step in action, something like choosing healthcare that your kiddos can utilize to thrive. Something like what we do in our office. That's what we know best, to put that system back into parasympathetic mode, back into that social vagus mode. And the coolest thing is that we don't guess about stress. Let me show you this. These are scans we use in our office. We don't guess. When we're talking about subconscious stress, we're not just talking about, are you subjectively noticing how your child is exhibiting stress? Things that we were talking about at the beginning, having hard mornings, afternoon blowups, digestive issues, whatever it may be. Those are subjective findings that you're seeing your kiddo in your life. However, on a subconscious level, how stressed out are your kiddos? These are scans that we do in our office to see how stressed out kiddos and adults are in our office. We're not about guessing. We're about understanding and tracking and making sure that we're taking care of this thing as we move forward in life and getting them to a point where they're balanced and they're dynamic in working with stress on a moment-by-moment basis when it comes to subconscious stress response. Because here's the thing, is your kiddo can look like they're consciously stressed, right? And that's a really big thing, all the things that we're talking about before. However, if we look at them deep level and their system actually is really, really balanced, then we have to go to what other things are externally causing your child to be stressed out. Or we have families who come in all the time. My kiddos are doing great. There's nothing like, other than these few little things. And we scan and we look at those kids and we're like, whoa, that is a stressed out system. It's not about guessing. It's about using objective measures to see how stressed out your kiddos are on a subconscious level. On the subconscious level, the 99.9% brain that does the functions that we're completely unaware of. Okay? Another action step. Eliminate the sugar. Eliminate the artificial junk. Those things stressed out your kiddos. I know eliminating sugar from diets is really, really hard because it's an addictive substance. So is the processed food and the artificial junk. All that stuff is extremely addictive. But if you eliminate it, that relieves so much stress on the system, that relieves so much inflammation on the system, that relieves all the artificial junk that are neurotoxins, that are toxic to the nervous system, and toxic to the system in general, out of the diet. Okay? Next step would be focus on making sure your kiddo has a bulletproof gut. Gut is second brain. Okay? Don't just focus on the gut because it's the second brain. You got to focus on the first brain too. Something like we do. Bring your kiddo in to see a brain-based pediatric chiropractor like us that focuses on the brain, and then you can focus on the gut. So now that you have your kiddo under consistent chiropractic care, focus on that gut. Making sure they have a bulletproof gut, making sure their gut microbe environment is great. Here's an easy way to do that. I know it's winter time around here, but hey, we still have January in Central Oregon. It's been nice. It's been sunny. It's been warm. Get your kiddos out in the dirt, in the sunshine, bring them to different environments. Different environments could be like go to Bend, in your town, go out in the woods, go out east, which is out in the desert, go out to Prineville, go to playgrounds in Redmond, come out to Sisters, go out to the Mackenzie River area, go to different areas, because when you do that, that causes the microbial environment within their gut to repopulate in different environments and help them have more balance. Proven, check it out. It's amazing research. Doing things like taking a supplement we recommend all the time called Ion Gut. Ion Gut. You can get it off Amazon. You can get it online, whatever it may be. It's amazing. It works so good on the gut. You can read all about how it works. Eliminating and looking at food allergies or intolerances. Big ones are sugar, gluten, dairy, corn, soy, and then the lists go underneath that. So you're like, man, I don't know what my kiddo might be having issues with. Okay. Just pay closer attention to them when they eat certain foods. You're like, man, I just fed my kid this and they're wild. They're off the charts. Or the next day, wow, their bowels are super off or their skin flared up. Start the process of looking at that, or go see a naturopath and they can help you find what your kid is intolerant to or allergic to. Another one would be making sure your kiddos are taking things like probiotics, prebiotics. Fuel their gut with things that are necessary. Focus on that gut, second level, because so much dopamine and serotonin comes out of that gut. Other things would be like taking supplements such as cod liver oil or minerals or a multivitamin that's bioavailable. Those will help the system, readapt, because when we're stressed out, we use higher amounts of vitamins and minerals. So if we're not consistently putting that in with the diet as well as supplementation, man, your kiddos are going to be scraping on the low. So that's something that we make sure we address with families in our office as well. Detox that body and that brain. Okay. What we like to do in our office is we like to use zeolites, which are crystalline substances in water that are amazing at detoxifying the body. There are 1,000,001 detox ways, detox things to detox your kiddos. So get your kiddos on some detox because we live in a super toxic world. Okay. Another big one, So much screen time. We're talking on screens right now. This stresses out your brain. I'm standing in front of a ring light looking at a camera. Man, it's like rocking my stress response. And that's why I'm super fired up. No, I'm just excited to talk about the topic. But at the same time, it is stressful to be in front of electronics. So for your kiddos, much of their life is spent on electronics, especially from a school perspective. Shout out to all the homeschool families who still do the pen and paper thing without electronics. That is amazing. But majority of kiddos get electronics throughout their day when it comes to school. So when they're at home, let's do no electronics. Let's do very minimal electronics. Limit it, especially an hour before bed. Eliminate all the electronics an hour before bed. Turn them all off. Get them all out. You'll be good. Even if you have a teen, they might want to punch you in the mouth. Yeah, if you take away their phone. However, they need you to take away their electronics for a certain amount of time. Plastic, malleable brains therefore get hardwired in the stress response, and electronics continues that. So when they get to a mature brain standpoint, their brain is so addicted from a stress response perspective to electronics, and their reward centers are so addicted to electronics that it's going to be hard for them to ever let them go, and that stress response is going to be consistently there. Other thing, socialize them. Find a great group of human beings that have great kiddos, that your kiddos can have healthy relationships with them. Because when, I know it's hard when your kiddos are stressed out. They might not have the best social interactions, but when you calm that system down with all the action steps we're talking about tonight, then you socialize them, and when they get into social Vegas, that's going to build their brain up even more. We're social creatures. We were meant to be social, so socialize them. I know that's hard now more than ever when it comes to COVID, but find a situation in which you can make that happen, whether that's, playing at an outdoor park, or some people are just acting as if COVID doesn't exist. Whatever fits your family's philosophy and lifestyle, create that, because social environment for your kids is entirely necessary. Okay. Last thing would be put the reps in over and over and over and over and over again with all of these things. That's why in our office, we choose, for my family too, to get parasympathetic shifting, social vagus activating, consistent chiropractic care on a weekly basis for our family. And so many families choose that, or they come to see us, whatever, for years and years and years, because they see how much it puts them back into a more relaxed mode, keeps them out of the stress response. I say it all the time. Once you get used to, with your children and your family, used to swimming in clear water, when you start to recognize what it's like to swim in clear water, if you've never swam in clear water before, you are going to be like, whoa, this is a whole new world. And when you go back to having dirty water, when the world starts to get stressful on your kiddos and yourself again, you're going to miss the clean water. To keep the clean water, you have to consistently put the reps in over and over and over again to make the systems relax and better adaptable to stressors in your life. When it hits a point in which it becomes habit, 21 days, 100 days of consistent action, 100 days of consistent action becomes a really hardwired neurological habit. At 100 days, that's when it just becomes a part of your lifestyle, and you can hit autopilot and you're good to go, right? For us and our family, so many families who come to see us with the chiropractic care, with the natural lifestyle, with the getting outside, with the healthy relationships, that's just normal. That's autopilot for us. For the stressed out kiddos and the stressed out families, the unhealthy stress things are their normal. And it's going to be a little bit stressful to move out of that, but it's the hard, easy approach. It's hard up front, you put in the hard work, and then it becomes easy, and you'll be so grateful that you did. So, what is the most important thing tonight? Okay? You recognize, you analyze, and you take action. Just take action. Start game planning tonight and take action tomorrow. Whether that be giving us a call, running what we call Gift to Health this month. And even if we weren't you hear this webinar, from moving forward, you're like, hey, I want to come in. Just mention this webinar. We'll give your kiddo 50% off their first visit to come into our office. Or you're like, hey, we're already on a consistent chiropractic care at your office or someone in our office. Amazing. That's awesome. Then hammer out the other bullet points that your kiddos can utilize in order to get off the stress train. So take action. We're here for you. Reach out whenever it is. Put it in the chat box. We'll get that. Send us an email. Give me a call. Whatever it is, we're here for you guys. We want your kiddos to thrive, and we want your families to thrive. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight.